This is what you need, and this is what I've noticed, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, welcome to the show. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. And we're here from the Steven Singer Studios, as we so love to be. I'm watching this game yesterday, and everything, especially with it being such a close game throughout, one-run game at worst throughout the entire game. And by the way, just side note, as much as I love Garrett Stubbs right now, I hate Miggy Rojas. All right, I don't need any more Miguel. Get the hell out of Philadelphia. I don't need to see you for a while. Hit the bricks, sir. Hit the bricks. We'll get into him in a second. But I'm watching this game yesterday, and I'm on the edge of my seat. And I thought this would happen if the Phillies lost the second game. After winning the first game, I thought, man, they lose the second game. That third game is going to be intense because we all know how important it is to win games in the division. The challenge from their new manager, Rob Thompson, going into this series and going into this 8-game stretch against both the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals, where now they got a 5-game series with them. We knew going into this from the manager's lips to God's ears, you got to win games in the division, and the Phillies have not been able to win games in the division. So you knew that this game 3, if they lost game 2, was going to really be intense. I didn't expect to be watching this game like it was a playoff game. And here I am, edge of my seat throughout. You have an incredible performance from Kyle Gibson. The bats, they weren't dead silent by any means. Rhys Hoskins had a couple of hits. That triple in, the 6th inning? Could have been an inside-the-park home run. Rhys, I love you. I defend you to a lot of people, but you hit a ball to center field. I don't care if you are betting $1,000. Well, baseball players, I don't care if you're betting $1 million that it's going out. You got to hustle around the base paths always. Was it the deepest part of the park? Sure. Was it high off the wall? Sure. But you got to know that is the most cavernous part of the ballpark. Not that really Citizens Bank is cavernous at all, but if you're talking about one cavernous spot, it's the deepest part of the ballpark. Hardest place to hit a home run. And he's standing there admiring it, makes it to third, nobody out, and the Phillies can't bring him home. And I'm like, And when you saw Rhys get to third base, by the way, you saw him say to Wathan, if you could read his lips a little bit, he said, I thought it was gone off the bat. It looked like he said, bleep, a bad word. And then he said, I thought it was gone off the bat. No kidding. Because if you didn't think it was gone off the bat, you would have been hustling around the base paths from jump. And guess what? We'll never know. Maybe he could have scored. But he didn't. And the Phillies certainly didn't bring him home in that inning either. So they had their struggles at the plate, certainly. But for the most part, I didn't feel like they were just dead throughout the entire game. Kyle Gibson, though, I thought was masterful yesterday. To pitch in the 9th inning with only, 89 pitches in that game yesterday? That was a game where he had it. He had it cooking. Him and Garrett Stubbs were on the same page really throughout the entire game. You felt like Gibson was pulling the string here and there. And the only guy to really get to, and they were pitching themselves out of jams here and there. Alec Boehm made a couple of great plays in the field, especially in that 9th inning with a runner on third base, able to make that sliding grab in foul territory to be able to corral that and end any threat of the Marlins putting on an insurance run, which wouldn't have mattered because Garrett Stubbs is awesome. But bottom line is they were there for their pitcher when they needed to be there for the pitcher in the field. At the plate, though, like I said, Kyle Gibson was pulling the string on guys left and right. I don't know what the hell was going on in the base paths in certain situations, but I will say this. When it comes to Miggy Rojas, and that was the guy I was referencing earlier, folks, I don't know what to do with this guy who has just killed the Phillies, and there's really no better example of what he was able to do yesterday than what you saw from him with that jumping tag on Alec Boehm. Like, I never wanted Alec Boehm to be 5'11" more than in that moment, as opposed to his 6'3" frame, whatever it is. He slides to the second base. Miggy Rojas makes the jumping leap to make sure the ball doesn't go into center field. Tags Alec Boehm on the top of the head, jarring his helmet, which I guess is how the umpire knew that the tag was definitely there. And he gets called out. Like maybe 5 minutes later, in real time, Rojas steps to the plate and puts the Marlins up 1-0 on a home run, barely fair. Hits off the foul pole, in the netting of the foul pole. Marlins go up 1-0. Phillies have some opportunities to score. They can't do it until that 9th inning when Garrett Stubbs stepped to the plate. It was electric. And like I mentioned before, we have talked about how you don't know who the hero is going to be in any given ball game. We've talked about Matt Vierling's home run off Hader in Milwaukee. Then Alec Boehm steps up, hits a home run. We've talked about Bryson Stott walking it off. We've talked about all these guys stepping up for the Phillies. Now Garrett Stubbs puts his name on that list, and I love what Rob Thompson had to say about him after the game. He's a ball player. That's what ball players do. He's a ball player. And Garrett Stubbs, if you didn't see it in the post-game interview, I want you guys to hear this. Garrett Stubbs in his post-game interview gets the water poured all over him after the game. I can make out two of the guys. One was Kyle Schwarber, the other was JT Realmuto, which is great because obviously he is the catcher of this ball club, doing it for the backup guy. That's great. And there's another guy. But if you didn't hear it, he talks about his work ethic in this. You'll hear the splash as well. I edited out the dead part, but here is Garrett Stubbs after the game talking about his role on the team and doing whatever it takes to just help the ball club win games.
And you didn't miss that slider. Oh, God, what a feeling. That was... there goes the headsets. Well, he probably needed that today after being behind the plate for as long as he was. We got you. All right, there we go.
Waterfall.
All right, so down to your final strike, and you get a slider that you just don't miss. I mean, it's got to be an electric feeling going through your system.
Yeah, I didn't think I could breathe so hard just after running around the bases. But, yeah, I was just waiting for a good slider to hit and finally got it there with 2 strikes and put a good swing on it. So,
you know, Garrett, one of the unsung heroes on any team that is looking to go in the postseason is the backup catcher. Not only are you a really good defensive catcher, but how do you do it with minimal at bats, because JT seemingly plays every day? How do you stay ready to hit like you've been since every time you're in the lineup?
I mean, we have 2 great hitting coaches in Longo and Cammy, so we do work on the side. I catch bullpens, and sometimes in the bullpens I'll be taking mental ABs. So I do everything I can to stay ready as best as possible, but that's my role. So I got to do everything I can to be ready for those moments, and it worked out tonight.
You're doing a hell of a job at that role, my friend. Holy goodness gracious, that was beautiful.
Yeah. Up and down and over and out, and I know one thing. Oh, my goodness gracious. Kids, let this be a lesson to you. Listen to Frank Sinatra music and hit walk-off home runs. That's what you do, Bep. That's what you do. When Garrett Stubbs was first walking to the plate this season, is somebody walking up to the chairman of the board? Is somebody walking up to old Blue Eyes? And you're damn right somebody was walking up to the plate listening to Frank Sinatra, and that was Garrett Stubbs. That's life. How do you not love that? Stay sharp by catching bullpen sessions, mental ABs. God, I love that. And just, you could see when he made contact with that ball. And Scott knew it too, the pitcher. When you're not sure about location, you just see the ball get belted, and then you see the little white dot that the TV leaves on there, that graphic for where the ball, was. It's like, ooh, that's a meatball. That's a beach ball, as a matter of fact. And Garrett Stubbs was like, thank you very much. Fly ball, deep right field, 5 rows back. Phillies win the game. Phillies win the series. You never know who's going to be the guy to step up for this team, and you got to love that about this ball club. JT Realmuto did work a walk in that 9th inning to get on base to make it a 3-run situation. But also Alec Boehm, similar, but not exactly like, but similar to Miggy Rojas from earlier in the game. Alec Boehm had that great sliding catch in the foul territory in the 9th inning, top of the 9th inning I mentioned, then stepped up in the next inning and put a ball in center field for a single to get things started. And that was pretty damn awesome as well. Or did you think he might have milked that for a double? No, he's pushed the second on the walk from JT Realmuto. So that was pretty damn awesome for that inning to come about the way it did. You never know who's going to be the hero, ladies and gentlemen. You never know who is going to be the hero. And yesterday, it was Garrett Stubbs. Phillies now got to keep it going. Won 2 of 3. They won the series, of course, against the Marlins. Now they got that long-ass 5-game series, including the doubleheader tomorrow against the Washington Nationals, who have been terrible this year. Phillies need to continue doing what they have been doing, which is not playing down to opponents, playing within themselves, and using every out possible. Yeah, we'd all like the comfortable outings here. We would all like the Phillies to do the 10-0s and all that stuff. But when you can eke out a win like this, when you could be trailing for the majority of the game, more or less, and then you get an opportunity to cash in the ninth inning, and you're able to do that with your backup catcher, yeah, that's fun too. And like I put out on social media after the game, it felt like a playoff win. If they would have lost this series to the Marlins, two things I think would have happened. A lot of faith would have been lost. Oh, no, they could put 9 wins together. They could win 10 of 12, but they can't win a series against the Marlins. Of course, they're 10 and 13 in that aspect. No, instead of it's 11 of the last 13. That's pretty damn good. I'll keep riding that with the Phillies, and hopefully the Phillies keep riding that momentum into this series against the Washington Nationals, where they can't look past their opponent. They got to continue to stack wins where they can stack wins, and if you can do that in the division, really good things are going to happen. So let's keep our fingers crossed that happens. By the way, Mickey Moniak hit a home run in his first game back down in the minors. I failed to mention that yesterday. I just wanted to mention that, thinking about Munoz striking out in that ninth inning. But, yeah, just saying is all. Just saying. Phillies back at it against the Nationals today. As I said, they start that 5-game series. Couldn't be more excited to see what happens in this series. Feels good to say that. Feels good to say that. Coming up a little bit later in the show, the Nasty Knuckles boys join us. I said yesterday we'll have a special guest, and I consider those guys special. Tomorrow we'll have another special guest. I'm just going to wait on confirmation. It is a football guest. I'll just say that. So look forward to talking to hopefully a player tomorrow, which will be fun. But in this show today, I wanted to make sure we talked a little Flyers with John Tortorella. I've told you my feelings on it. I feel like the Flyers are going to have somebody there on the bench that the fans can identify with. It's not going to be stoic looks from Dave Hackstall or John Stevens, even from some years ago. It's going to be a guy who's going to be very emotional. And we love that in Philadelphia. We don't like looking down there and being like losing our minds. Be like, what's he doing? Oh, he's calm. He must not care, you know? John Tortorella, of course, is not going to do that. He kind of lives his life with his heart on his sleeves. So we'll talk to Derek Settlemeyer and Riley Cote, the guys from the Nasty Knuckles podcast, cover all things hockey, all things Flyers, all things coaching hire. We'll get their take on torts coming up in just a second. But the NBA draft is next week, ladies and gentlemen. And there's been a couple of reports. I mentioned one the other day about Danny Green and the 23rd overall pick about the Sixers. Jeez. Let me try that again. There's reports out there, we mentioned yesterday, about Danny Green and the 23rd overall pick with the Sixers being shopped around. Well, now other names, courtesy of Keith Pompey, the Inquirer, have come out with Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle. Nothing shocking by any means, but possibly using these guys to either move up or acquire talent elsewhere. I'm not 100% out on Matisse Thybulle. I just want to let you know where I'm at. I'm not in the group of get him the hell out of town. But if you can move him and Tobias Harris and Danny Green and a 23rd overall pick, and you can somehow magically make this team better by packaging all of that, if Bradley Beal is in the mix for that, I don't see how he would be for that package. I don't see why the Wizards would be using that, but hey, maybe they will. But if you can bring back another star athlete for all that, I don't see how that happens, then great. If you could just take one step forward using all that, great. I'm all for it. I don't feel emotionally attached to, and I don't feel like those guys are detrimental or, pivotal is the word I should use. I don't think those guys are pivotal to a championship run for the Philadelphia 76ers. I think those guys can help bring back somebody who could be pivotal to a championship run for the 76ers, but I don't think the Sixers need those guys in order to do it. Here's where I'm at with Matisse Thybulle. And in all honesty, I look at the vaccination stuff and him not being able to play in Canada as it's in the past. I'm not using that to judge what happens going forward with the Sixers. I am simply judging Matisse Thybulle on the type of basketball player that he is. And here's where we're at. Here's where we can't deny. I don't see Matisse Thybulle coming in next year and being even a Robert Covington level of 3 and D type of player on this roster. I don't see him developing. I think the defense will be there. I don't think that his three-point percentage is all of a sudden going to climb to 38, 40% from 3. I don't think that's not happening. Once I root for the guy, I don't see it happening. we always talk about the number one priority is not wasting Joel Embiid's prime. If that's the case, then we don't have time for Matisse Thybulle to develop that shot. So seeing his name in trade rumors is not shocking. Seeing his name as being dangled out there on the trading block is not at all shocking. Really, towards the end of last season, people started talking about this. And when I say the end of last season, I'm including the playoffs in that. People were like, I wouldn't mind if they traded Matisse Thybulle. A lot of it was because of the vaccination status and not being able to play in Toronto. And when he came back playing terrible. So that's not exactly heartwarming. Tobias Harris, I think, struggled to find his identity on this team with how many times the team changed over. Now, it was always Joel Embiid's team, but then, it was also Ben Simmons here, and Tobias Harris kind of became the leader in the clubhouse. The thing that I will say about this whole trade scenario and all these trade names being dangled out there is that I'm thrilled that Tyrese Maxey's name is not one of them. I think Keith Pompey even points out in his story, talking about how they don't want to part ways with Matisse Thybulle. But if it means bringing back legit talent or an opportunity to acquire legit talent, then they want to do that. So if they're even willing to trade a guy they really like Thybulle, and then they don't even have a guy that we know they love in Tyrese Maxey dangled out there, that makes me feel a lot better that Tyrese Maxey will in fact be back. Now, I never expected him. I never would bet on Maxey being traded by any means, but people are always talking about, when we talked to Marshall Harris in Chicago about possibly packaging him, or for Zach LaVine, for instance, we were talking about, Maxey, would it take Maxey to get it done? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. But they don't, the Bulls, first off, don't want to have to make a move, and you got to give up something to get something. We all know that adage if you're going to make a trade. But my opinion going into this offseason has been Daryl Morey, without question, has to make a big move this offseason in order to put the Sixers over the top. If it includes Maxey, yes, I think the fans would riot. But it's up to Daryl Morey to go out there and be the great GM he's supposed to be. And great GMs make moves that make you go, how the hell did you pull that off? Man, Daryl Morey really fleeced the Wizards for Bradley Beal. Daryl Morey really fleeced the Bulls for Zach LaVine. Daryl Morey really pants that guy. Like, that's what I want to say by the start of next season. Man, this offseason by Daryl Morey, how about that? Really fleece those guys. That's what I need. Sooner rather than later, Daryl Morey. Sooner rather than later. So when it comes to the reports of all that, there is really nobody's name that has been mentioned. And I think Daryl Morey is right there in step with the fan base, or the fan base is in step with Daryl Morey. I think both sides are in agreement that Matisse Thybulle, hey, thanks for your service, but if you can make this team better with a trade, thank you very much. Find your identity on another team. God bless you. You were great in hustle, by the way. And it sucks because I've always rooted for Tobias Harris. I will say that. Emotionally, I really like Tobias Harris. I wish he would stay here in Philadelphia. But professionally speaking, I don't mind. All I really give a damn about is this team getting better, and I think Tobias Harris could be a big part of making this team better by going elsewhere and seeing what he could bring back in return. Danny Green, admire the hell out of the guy. Sucks that his season ended the way it did last year. Wish him nothing but the best, but I don't have an attachment to him. Thybulle, hey, I love him, but I see him benefiting this team elsewhere. So those are all names, and the 23rd pick, whatever. It is what it is. Those are all names or assets, to use that term, that I don't mind the Sixers parting with in order to get better by the start of next season. So no attachment there. No attachment there. I'm a cold-hearted bastard. What can I say? Before we get to the nasty knuckles, guys, let me tell you about the great people at Destination Retirement, like my man Mike Seibert. Folks, are you getting ready for retirement? Do you know what a 529 is? Well, here's the deal. Contact my man Mike Seibert to help you get ready for retirement. Contact Mike Seibert to help you get ready for your kids' college education and saving for your kids' college education. It only makes sense to understand from Mike Seibert how your retirement income streams will work. So contact my man Mike Seibert at GoBirds at 1847financial.com. That's GoBirds at 1847financial.com, or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. Make sure you send him an email, GoBirds at 1847financial.com, and talk to him about retirement. He'll set you up a portal in Retirement Analyzer and use that software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. We've talked about it a lot on this show. Going up the mountain, when you climb a mountain, is like your accumulation phase. Going down the mountain is your distribution phase. Those are the phases of your financial life. Mike Seibert will walk you through. He'll also let you know how to save best for your kids' college education and not deplete 529s when you're getting ready for retirement as well. Mike Seibert will walk you through all of this. You can also check out his website at destinationretirement.com. That's destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds. How about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, ladies and gentlemen? For all your big jewelry purchases, do what I do. Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Steven Singer is the man to trust when it comes to all your diamonds, when it comes to all your jewelry. And here's what I can guarantee you. It's what Steven guarantees every one of his customers: the perfect price. You don't have to walk into Steven Singer and say, okay, I really want this ring, but maybe I can haggle. Maybe I can negotiate. You walk in, you see the price is already marked way down, considering what the competition is making you spend. The competition will mark things way up. And then, all right, if they negotiate a little bit, I'll knock it down to this. But guess what? Whatever they knock it down to is still higher than what Steven is selling it at. Steven guarantees the perfect price every single day at Steven Singer Jewelers. You don't have to worry about a promo code, a coupon, or when the sale is or anything like that. The sale's every day at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every day at IHateStevenSinger.com with the other corner of 8th and Walnut right there on Jewelers Row. Do what I do. Trust my man, Steven Singer Jewelers. IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of conversations surrounding the Philadelphia Flyers right now and bringing in a fiery coach in John Tortorella. So I figured we'd have some fun today and catch up with the Nasty Knuckles boys, the Nasty Knuckles podcast, Derek Settlemeyer, and our good friend Riley Cote as well. Both are really good friends of the show. And it's always a joy to talk to both these gentlemen. So without further ado, here they are on the soon-to-be hiring of John Tortorella. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and pleasure that I introduce to you, returning to the program, the men of the Nasty Knuckles podcast, the Nasty Knuckles YouTube program, web show galore. We got my man Derek Settlemeyer right there. Riley Cote joining the program. What's up, boys?
What is up, Farzy? I'm so happy you got the gloves on, man. Those things are so money. Money.
Well, let me just tell you, for the backstory here, Riley, and you know the deal, but for the people that are just seeing this for the first time, these are my Nike hockey gloves that I wore in the summer of probably 8th grade going into 9th grade when I was playing roller hockey, like I was in the movie Airborne, only I wasn't in Ohio. I was in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, rocking Burpee Park like nobody's business. And my mom bought me these, which I thought were awesome. And then I didn't wear them until the Nasty Knuckles ball hockey tournament, to which my body is still recovering from, fellas. So thank you again for that.
You left the part out about your huge snipes that you had.
Oh, yeah.
Goals, too. They were big. Hey, they were. The one was a G-dub. And those gloves, Farzy, I'll bet you put those on eBay. You get a lot of cake for them, man.
Yeah.
Glove, I know guys would rock those for sure. I wish I had a pair of those skates like Gretz wore with the white when he was in New York, the white Nike with a blue stripe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Good stuff.
Those were sweet, man. Those were sweet.
You're joining him with your style, man.
We're right up there. Right up there. God bless you. Folks, you guys have had some great episodes, really throughout your entire run. Are you guys on 76 episodes now? Where are you guys at?
Yeah, just finished 76. Yep.
Okay, now I was watching, you had Hartsy on, and you also had Coatsy on. Yeah. So two just classic hockey nicknames right there. The phenomenal episodes. Everyone's got to check that out across all the platforms, of course, and listen to the podcast, Nasty Knuckles podcast. But I got to ask you guys this. I want to start out of the gate with what everyone's talking about, this whole head coaching search right now, and the idea of the Flyers possibly bringing in somebody else to hire the next head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, and it's looking like, obviously, John Tortorella. Riley, let me ask you first and foremost. Hiring the head coach using an outside party, and what do you make of John Tortorella?
I've never heard of anything like that before. Honestly, I was available. I would have chose John Tortorella. That was
really? Okay.
I mean, we talked about this before several times on the pod, and is always between him and Rick Tocchet. And for every reason, probably because I just know that he's going to at least get the guys going out of the gate and identify and establish an identity within the locker room. I think he's going to do that. Absolutely. Not that any other coach wouldn't, but Torts has got a reputation to light a fire, and he was my pick from the start. So happy to see that. Never heard of the third party consultant, if you will. Seems odd when you have some amazing picks there. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with probably any of them, honestly. But Torts was my pick.
All right, Nasty. So let's just say this then. Let's say that there was a fourth party that they sought counsel for, and that fourth party was the Nasty Knuckles podcast. Where do you rank John Tortorella and the guys that were available to coach the Flyers?
Personally, just from being in an organization for so long, I love Torts. First of all, you're not going to go wrong there. I think we've had guys on the show before that have talked about their relationship with him after playing with him. A lot of FU contests. Vinny LeCavalier sticks out in my mind. Him telling me stories about him and Torts, literally FU back and forth every other day. But once he got to Philly, one of his best friends that he talked to a lot was Torts. And Torts is one of the nicest humans. You can ask Scott Hartnell when he was on the show talking about Torts. But I have zero problem with Torts. I think he's going to light a fire. He wants you to play hard. That's what he wants. He just expects everyone to give everything they have, which every coach really does, right? Torts is a little louder. I wouldn't have mind seeing a guy like Rick Tocchet also, just because maybe to bring back a little bit of that Flyers mentality that I feel like has been lost a little bit, or maybe more than a little bit. I think they're trying to get that back, but Torts will bring an identity. He will make the team have an identity again, which I think they've kind of been lacking. Of course, last year was really hard when half your team's hurt all year. It's kind of hard to have an identity. But I like the pick, Farzy. I really do. If Torch signs, I think I don't think you can go wrong, like Riley said.
Yeah, I think either way it's going to be entertaining, whether it's beautiful or it goes up in flames. I think it's going to be very entertaining. But I did say my take on the whole situation was I really like Barry Trotz. I thought he might be better suited for the job, but Tortorella, I think we'll put the butts in the seats, as they say. When it comes to him, though, why would he want to take this job? Like, the Flyers don't have a lot to offer right now, it feels like, in terms of like being right there to compete for a championship. Why would John Tortorella now at this age, 63, want to start working on something that could be at the very least, a big retooling?
That's a great question. I talked to Rick Tocchet here and there, and I always say to him, man, you got a great job now, but he's like, I still kind of have that itch to coach. I know he's been doing some interviews and stuff. I think Torch is such a competitor. I'm sure he enjoys being on TV and doing that, but it's not the same, for a guy like that. Sure. Like, he is a highly competitive guy, and that's just my opinion. I think that's why he was like, you know what, I can fix this. I'm going to help. Like Riley said too, like, unfortunately, coaches' shelf lives, they're not that long sometimes. Hopefully he lasts and he turns it around, but you're going to need a lot of moves, I think, to help with Torch coming in, with this team.
Yeah, right. Do you see him being involved in this rebuild other than just coaching, maybe being another mind for the front office?
That's a great question.
I think so, absolutely. I mean, I think coaches are always working with their general managers, from what I understand. I think to piggyback off Nasty there, I think Torts is such a competitive guy, and he's probably been waiting for an opportunity to coach anywhere. You know what I mean? It's a blessing to be involved in the sport, and for him to be, have been coaching for as long as he has, and being patient. I think it's just the passion of the game. Is just wanting to win and wanting to do what he does best is coach. And I think we're talking offline. Torts back in the day, his reputation, is very visibly intense on the bench. And I don't think that's changed, but I think from what I understand, he's become a better communicator and he's a more refined John Tortorella. I think he's just a great fit, honestly. I think, I think the fans have been influenced by the media and already knowing how Torts is. And it's almost like they just want to see something. It's almost like, it's like even if the Flyers lose, they want to see someone snap on the bench just to justify the loss, and they'll be happy with that. But, that being said, he has an ability to get guys going. And to piggyback off Nasty's last point there, I don't think the Flyers right now as it stands are good enough. So you're only as good as your horses. So, yes, you could have a great, intense coach, but he's going to need some help. Otherwise, he's going to wear on these players quicker and sooner than that 2-year lifespan. So he definitely needs some help.
Nasty, if you're up there with him, if you're on the bench with him, if you're in the front office with Chuck Fletcher, whatever it might be, hell, I'll promote you to third party instead of just fourth party. What is it this team needs to do other than bringing a head coach that's won before and has done a lot of winning in the league over a 20-year span and all that? What do the Flyers need to do after hiring this head coach? What needs to happen on the ice?
Well, first of all, I think they need to be healthy, which we all know that. We've talked about this a lot, Farzy. The Ellis injury season, I mean, the guy played 4 games. That was huge. I think they would add another D-man, but you're also right. The cap, you're going to have to make some moves to bring some players in. Like everybody's talking about Johnny Gaudreau. Seems like he's coming here from what I've been hearing. It's a lot of money you're going to have to pay him too, but I think they still need another D to play with Provy, and hopefully Ellis is healthy. All of a sudden you get another D in here. It's looking a lot different on the back end. And Torts is a defensive-minded guy. I think, like with the way he plays, he expects everybody to play full 200. And that's even Johnny Gaudreau. Like, I'm not saying Daryl Sutter doesn't do that either, but some of these younger kids that I don't want to say cheat a little bit playing the offensive, that ain't going to happen with Torts. So I think you have to add a D-man. I mean, I think they have to do that. And, you're going to have to get a scorer. I mean, you lost Claude, who's not quite a point a game, but still probably your best player, let's be honest. Johnny Gaudreau is going to bring points, that's for sure. And then hopefully you're healthy. I mean, that's the biggest thing, because with this cap, you know how it is with this cap era. It's not that easy just to make a bunch of moves.
Right. Riley, if you're up there, what are you telling John Tortorella? What are you telling Chuck Fletcher?
I think yes, at another defenseman, you have to replace G's points and some. So if that's Johnny Gaudreau, in a perfect world, you'd have another addition there up front. You know what I mean? I just don't think they score enough. I think part of their problem is how tight they are with salary and some contracts that are hard to move. But wishful thinking, even with some additions, being healthy. I mean, that was a huge one. I'm not sure if they're still a playoff team, but who knows? A new voice, new energy. Again, you get healthy, you get some momentum. Everyone feels better. Guys get scoring. You never know. It's interesting sport, and you just got to find that groove. But it's hard to find it when you're damaged all the time and then guys aren't producing. So we'll see. It's a fresh start.
Individually, you both, God bless you, mention the name Claude Giroux. So just percentage-wise, 100% he's definitely coming back. 0, he's not coming back. Nasty, is Claude Giroux coming back to the Flyers?
0%.
0%. Riley?
I'm going 0 as well.
0%. Look at you like-minded people. God bless you. All right, fellas, we've had you on the show before. Usually I reserve this for first-time guests, but I just have a feeling that you guys will knock these out of the park. Do you guys want to play the Farzy 5?
Hell yeah, man.
Damn. All right, you know what? Just for you guys.
I was gonna say, put the mitts on.
Okay.
Put the mitts.
Now, I just can't. I gotta bring in the band, guys. Let's hear it. Come on, let's feel it today. Ooh, saucy guys, saucy. Oh, they're just fantastic. All right, hold on. Let me get my note card. Here we go. Riley, start with you. Best job before hockey. What was it?
I worked at a concrete plant and made parts of sewers underneath the ground. So pretty solid job.
He said best.
Best? Paperboy.
Okay.
Oh, Paperboy. There you go.
Seems better than making sewage things. I don't know what you said.
Now, Riley, I don't know how.
Your actual job itself. What are we talking about? Delivering papers for about 50 cents a day? I mean,
yeah, true.
Yeah. I don't know how it works.
In the middle of winter? I mean, that's not a great job.
True.
Right?
In Canada, did you have to go around in Canada as a paperboy? Did you have to go around collecting the money yourself?
I did. Yeah, I did that for years, man. It was the most painful part of it. Oh, I don't have that $3.50 today. You can have to come back tomorrow. I'm like, oh, thanks, buddy. Help me out.
And that's where Riley learned how to fight. No, all right.
And they're $3.50. They're giving you all coins. They're loonies.
Oh yeah, it was digging around, rummaging around the old purse and finding some crummy quarters and loonies.
Awful.
I was busy watching Kids in the Hall. I didn't have a chance to come over and pay you. All right. Nancy, best job before hockey?
I worked at High Point University basketball camp from the time I was 12 until 18. That was my favorite job.
Wait, High Point in like what? Montgomery?
North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Not even close. Not even close. I was going to say, I went to High Point basketball camp. Not that one. Not that one. All right, awesome. Go-to fast food place. Nasty, go to you.
I try not to eat it, but I'll have to say Chick-fil-A because my son lives off Chick-fil-A.
There you go. All right. Riley?
Don't really eat, but Chipotle when I'm in a hurry.
Ooh, Chipotle, muy bueno. Absolutely.
Yeah, Farzy, ask him about when he was playing where he made me stop at 3 a.m. every morning.
Not a white cat.
Burger King.
Oh, Burger King. Whoppers,
3 a.m.
Whoppers and cheese.
From the bar.
Trying to pack on
when we're heading out for the beginning of the night, he's like, Nasty, whatever we do, we're not stopping at Burger King. On our way home, 3 a.m., we passed that Burger King, pull in. What am I going to say? The guy weighed 225. Now he weighs 145. I can take him now.
Jeez. I stopped eating shit now. I got the message.
You're right. There
you go. Yeah, I just literally had 2 burritos like 10 minutes ago. All right, next question. Not from Chipotle, unfortunately, homemade. This is a great one. Riley, for you. First, in your dating days, first date deal breaker. First date deal breaker.
Jeez. Oh, I'm not even sure. That's a tough one. Can I? A lot of people. Can I take a moment?
Yeah, you can pass to Nasty.
I'll just say if they were high maintenance, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, right. Them high maintenance ladies. Yeah, I'm with you. Rude to the wait staff was always one. People with no manners.
There you go.
Yeah. I was gonna say a loud chewer. Which I've done. A little smack.
Right.
So, not feeling it.
No, I'm absolutely with you. Nasty, favorite city to travel to?
Ooh, L.A.
Wow. Okay. All right. I feel that. I like L.A. Riggs.
I got a few. I'm gonna go with Montreal since I've had some pretty damn good times there.
Huh.
Nice.
Wonder where you were.
Just touch the hotel.
He's at the Burger King. The Burger King. He was at the Burger King.
Yeah.
And then, all right. I'll ask you this one first. In traffic, Riley Cote, what makes you beep your horn?
When people are snoozing at the red light and it turns green.
Okay.
And they're on their phone or completely sleeping, I give her a nice honk.
Nasty?
I was going to say the exact same thing. He read my mind. That's usually the only time I'll lay on the horn. The way people are today, I'm too afraid to really lay on the horn.
Yeah,
I'll just give them a nice little, I wish I had a different beep for when I just, hey, the light's green, just a Pee Wee Herman.
Friendly beep.
Yeah. That's usually the only time I'll hit the horn.
Let's see if I remember doing this with you guys before, trying to hit the mouse with the gloves on. This is not working at all. Got to abort that mission. Guys, you can cool it with the band. Thank you. You guys were hot today. Hot. You guys had a lot of similar. It's almost like you guys should do a podcast together. What? Yeah.
Like we've been around each other a little bit.
If you guys are not listening to the Nasty Knuckles podcast, if you guys aren't watching the show, if you're not seeing the clips and following them on social media, let me just make sure you guys have a little basis point for that. Here it is right here. You can check them out on Twitter, the Nasty Knuckles podcast. Make sure you follow all things Nasty Knuckles, all your Flyers news and conversation. you want to talk to these guys, my man Derek Settlemeyer, of course, and Riley Cote. Gentlemen, you do a phenomenal job. A pleasure catching up with you guys as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farzy. You're the best, buddy.
Awesome. Our guys, great seeing you guys. From the Nasty Knuckles podcast, Riley Cote, Derek Settlemeyer joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Hello again. Haven't mentioned how much I love those guys. And Nasty keeps telling me that these gloves, these hockey gloves, these Nike hockey gloves, because I don't know if Nike still does anything in hockey. He's like, people would pay top dollar for those, for these Johns. You know what I'm saying? And it is a true story. I've had these for, I don't know, 15, 16 years now. And I love them. I love them. I just love that I got them towards the end of my roller hockey career. And by roller hockey career, I mean just playing on the weekends with my buddies. And taking you into my childhood for a second. Maybe it was 3 miles. Yeah. I would rollerblade with, because I own the goal. I had a goal. I got a goal one year for Christmas. And it was like just like one of them, PVC pipe type Johns. And I was throwing it over my I would throw it over my shoulder with my hockey bag, and I'd rollerblade to the park, Burpee Park in Doylestown. I grew up like 3 miles from it, and it was actually our recess grounds at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, so we knew it well. And we rollerbladed to the old tennis court there, which is connected to the basketball court, if you know it. And we would rollerblade up there. We'd drop our stuff off. We'd have like 2 people stay behind. Another two guys would rollerblade into town. Oh man, the mid-90s were a beautiful time. And rollerbladed into town. We go to a place called Nuts Plus, which was a candy store. I later met the owner while I was at WIP. He had a studio sit-in, and I'm like, no way, you own Nuts Plus. It's amazing. And we'd load up on Snickers bars and a whole bunch of stuff. And then we'd go to a place called Hoagie Works. It was in a bakery called Hornburgers at the time. And we'd get a whole bunch of Rosenberger's iced tea. And that would be our day. We'd play for like 6 hours, and then we'd go home. Then I'd rollerblade home with these gloves, baby. With these gloves. It's just wonderful childhood memories. And I can't operate anything mechanical on the show with them, so I got to take them off because everything's touchscreen, bruh. Everything's touchscreen. Anyway, thanks to the Nasty Knuckles guys. Both of them very high on the Tortorella hiring, if it does in fact go through, and very suspicious of the whole idea of using a third party. I can't think of anything dumber. It's hard to believe. Like, it's almost as dumb as that play in, what was it, the 7th inning between Jazz Chisholm and what's his name? Odubel Herrera, where they were trying to out-stupid the other. Chisholm was trying to not tag Odubel Herrera. He thought Odubel Herrera was out of the base pass. Why wouldn't just tag him? I don't know. Why Odubel Herrera wouldn't attempt any type of slide or just at least go to the bag? I don't know. Anyway, that's on the same level as Chuck Fletcher acknowledging using a third party. That allows me the great opportunity to use my favorite line and apply it to sports. From the hit movie Office Space, which I believe won multiple Academy Awards. What is it you say you do here, Chuck Fletcher? I have people skills. I am good at working with people. Why that would ever come out is beyond me. I can't imagine. And I'll say this. Before I hit record on that old interview, the Nasty Knuckles guys were like, is that common, like in other sports to do that? And I was like, oh, God, no. Like, they might use somebody else to like maybe do not background check, like government, like what's this guy done? But like they might use somebody to help research, but even that I think it would be weird. And I don't think any NFL team would ever let that get out that, oh, we're using a third party to hire a coach. What? What's your job? Exactly. I don't really feel like the Flyers are in good hands. Let's just say that. But thanks to the Nasty Knuckle guys for joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Hey, remember the old you? Huh? The one that had to put up with a fickle knee, a finicky hip, or a shoulder? that now no longer does what a shoulder should do? Well, the Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you. Back to running, back to walking, back to working, and back to playing. Back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people at Versus Game? Got a couple of days left. The odds are in your favor right now. I asked the question, will Bryce Harper hit more than 3 home runs over the 8-game stretch? 5 games left. Folks, you can win yourself some cash. Download the Versus Game app to your phone right now. Follow at Farzy Show. And you can say yes or no for Bryce Harper to hit 3 home runs, in which will now be 5 games. Will he hit 3 or more home runs? Excuse me, over 3 home runs. So he's got to hit 4. Scoozy. So you have a chance to win money. Yes or no? Simple question. There's no odds involved here. So you got some good odds in your favor. I'll just say that. Download the Versus Game app to your phone right now. Follow at Farzy Show. Look up that question that I ask. Always a new question every week. And it's a video of me asking the question as well. So you get bonus me. All right? So download the Versus Game app to your phone right now. Have yourself a good time. Follow at Farzy Show. All right? Have yourself a good time at Versus Game app, where the games are a blast. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Just one look or smell, you'll know it's CBD done right. And if you like CBD, if you're curious about CBD, go to FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Check out what they have. All their menu's insane. And how about 20% off with promo code Farzy? You like it a CBD? You'll love 20% off Freestone Farm CBD at FreestoneFarmCBD.com with promo code Farzy. So make sure you check out the website right there. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar, and they get all their premium hemp flour. They grow it in the Garden State, babe. So right there in New Jersey. The menu is something you'll absolutely love as well. You'll have to check it out with strains like their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1% and a super CBD, which is half Hindu Kush at 21%. The genetics of these guys, they're off the charts. Come on. Freestone Farm CBD. FreestoneFarmCBD.com. They'll be blown away. You'll know it's CBD done right. And once again, there's nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And they also harvest carefully and then preserve the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. Freestone Farm CBD, 20% off at checkout when you use promo code Farzy. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check, everybody, and see how the good people of Philadelphia do it after my man Garrett Stubbs. I have been up and down and over, and I can do it all day. I can do it all day. Opera, a poet, a pawn, and a king. I have been up and down and over and out, and I know one thing. All day, folks, all day. Since Stubbs hit that home run, and since the beginning of this show, and through the show, Frank Sinatra, That's Life, Garrett Stubbs walk-up music has been in my head, and I have been just singing it galore. And I don't mind it, because anytime the chairman of the board can make an appearance on this program, I'm here for it. Anytime. That's right. He's over my shoulder all the time. That's right. Anyway, Dan Schwartz, welcome back, Daniel. Hope training went great. By the way, can you guys help me out with something? I don't know. I got this picture a long time ago of Frank Sinatra, okay? And is that a slot machine, it appears? I think that's Eleanor Roosevelt in the background. It looks like Eleanor Roosevelt. But I feel like if Eleanor Roosevelt's in the picture, in any shot, it should be, hey, by the way, Eleanor Roosevelt is there too, but it's just Frank Sinatra there at the bottom. It just says Frank Sinatra. It doesn't say like Frank Sinatra. It's the Sands Hotel. He's at the thing. He's at the slot machine. And it should say like Eleanor Roosevelt. Folks, when you woke up this morning, did you think you'd be hearing about Eleanor Roosevelt? Anyway, so that's my picture of Frank Sinatra. Good morning, Farzy. Good morning, Kevin. Kevin, good morning to you. Dan, hello again. Mally. Smugly, if you got him, celebrating today. The parade is on Saturday for the amazing series win. I'm just so relieved that they won. Because if they don't win this game, Mally, And everybody, you're like, here we go again. You're going to beat up on teams not in your division. You have opportunities to win these games. You blow an 8+ inning performance from, seven inning performance plus from Kyle Gibson, and you can't score a run for the man. What the hell? And that's just the case, by the way. Yeah, 8 inning performance from Kyle Gibson. Ridiculous. Kevin, Sean Gillespie, what's going on, brother? Dan Schwartz, now Mark is going to be another 5 minutes because you told him to smile more, Mally. Mark hit the custom-made Phillies bong he got for special occasions. What would the special occasion Phillies bong look like? Would it just be a long fanatic nose? A Philly fanatic nose? Is that what it would be? With Phil and Phyllis on either side, maybe, to throw back retro? Maybe on the upside, it looks like the Phillies pee, and you turn it upside down, and it's a bong. Maybe that's what it is. Good morning, Mickey Diaz. What's going on there, brother? We finally took one from the fish. Finally, you're damn right. Farzy is working the sound, or is it me? No, we fixed that. Yeah, we fixed that. Thank you. Oh, so that means you guys probably didn't hear. PJ, does that mean they probably didn't hear my original version of That's Life? Men's Amends? A little bit? Okay. All right. Let's go get hype, y'all. Mickey Diaz, absolutely. It was like a playoff win. It was like a playoff win for me yesterday. I can't say it enough. What? Garrett Stubbs is a stud. Mickey Diaz, I agree. Clutch 3-run home run. Dan Schwartz, in quotes, how many puffs to the center of an 1 cough, 2 cough? What number am I on? I'm so high. Mark doing his impression of Tootsie Pop commercial. Dan, you're not far off. Stubb called a hell of a game. Hit the walk-off. Yep, absolutely. Tyvita. Good morning, Tyvita. Great calls by T-Mac, Scott Fransky in the Spanish broadcast, I'm sure. There's been a ton of wild endings all across the season, Jason says. Jason, I agree. What's up, buddy? Tyvita saying hi to everybody. Actually, Mally's saying I'd honestly let Stubbs play the whole National Series and let JT rest. Not sure that's going to happen with the doubleheader tomorrow. Favorite part? Mally, nothing. Mark, there's nothing like Old Blue Eyes and a joint. I prefer Old Blue Eyes in a nice glass of Jack Daniels. My favorite part of the game was after Stubbs hit the camera pans. The Marlins face priceless. Absolutely. And Tyvita, did you see during the post-game interview with Stubbs? This is the part I cut out, strictly to make it more podcast friendly. So we didn't have a lot of dead air. But they actually show, who was it, Scott that gave up the home run? In the dugout with his head down. Just like, what the hell, man? Just couldn't take it. But it was pretty wild. Mally, if you're doing that with Sinatra music, that's when it becomes Old Red Eyes. You guys aren't the first to accuse me of chronically smoking marijuana. In high school, and even a little bit in grade school, my allergies really started to set in. And you guys are, here's allergies, sure. But I would get just bright red eyes. Like, it would just be so easily irritated. And people were like, what were you doing in the bathroom? Were you smoking? Like, no, I was smoking. Allergies. I was washing my face from the allergies of the pollen. Yeah, I was smoking pollen. Yeah? You ever do that? Anyway. Okay, that shouldn't be said. No circumstances should Suarez come near that field. Honestly, Suarez should never start a game again. Well, they're kind of out on everything. Danny going for sure. They're on fire. Mickey. Wow, a lot of Suarez hating the whole thing here. He's a fifth starter. And you guys know I'm not high on Ranger Suarez either. I just said higher and all the weed talk. I know you guys will run with that one. But I mean, like, promote who right now from AAA? They got arms. We know that. I'd love to see him up there, but I don't know. Arms are. I'd bring up a bat faster than I bring up an arm. believe it or not. Mally, I can see 12-year-old Mark in a batting cage doing his best Happy Gilmore, taking baseballs to the chest. Only 146 more days till the season starts. Got to toughen up. Golf requires funny clothes and a fat ass. I got both of them. Tyvita, those gloves are bigger than my gloves I wore in the blizzards in the 90s. Blizzard in 93, and what was it, an ice storm in 96? And I feel like we had another blizzard in 97, maybe? Mark, don't ever say John again. I like to work into John every once in a while. I like to work into John just to keep guessing. Oh, Hindu Kush, you're welcome, Mally. Is Kush religious or something? It is to some people, Sean. Eleanor, as in Gone in 60 Seconds? I've never seen Gone in 60 Seconds. I'm not a car guy. I would watch it. I'm in the midst of, now on the flight back from Europe, I don't know what possessed me to do this. They were just available, so I started watching Bond movies. I like Bond movies. I wouldn't say I'm a Bond freak by any means, but I watched a lot of them, and I think I watched them all out of order. It was all ones with Daniel Craig. They didn't have ones that were like any of the older ones. Like, I remember, what's the one guy from Mrs. Doubtfire? That handsome bastard. Oh, Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. I liked him as Bond. The first Bond I remember, is it Timothy Dalton? Yeah, I think that's his name, Timothy Dalton. That's the first Bond I remember from Living Daylights. I haven't seen entirely any of the Roger Moore Bond movies. Like, I haven't sat down and watched them. I'm on GoldenEye. Right now, right now I'm on Goldfinger. I've watched the two previous ones. The Dr. No is the first one with Sean Connery. The second one is From Russia with Love. And now I'm in the middle. I'm watching Goldfinger. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where I am. And wow, seeing the Austin Powers movies first before these original James Bond movies is just making me laugh because I'm seeing who everybody's based on. Like, I knew everybody was based on a Bond character, but I never saw the actual character. Other than GoldenEye, yeah, for N64. So yeah, that's fun. Lincoln's Hawk, welcome back to the chat. Pierce was allergic to pepper in Mrs. Doubtfire. You damn right he was. Oh, you guys are awesome. Watching the show without sound was entertaining yet disturbing. Sean Miscusi. Real time. Just think Cassiano isn't even playing well yet. I always think the microphone is the Farzy Show logo. Clippers? Real time, what's up, man? Anybody else getting this lightning? Wow. Oh, yeah, Jim. It's nuts outside. For people that go outside today, be careful. It's a little crazy outside today. Ominous is the word I'd use. Gotta watch it, Mark. Great movie. Mickey Diaz, I will watch it. I promise you that. Real time, that's funny. I like that. Wait till you see 007 pull my finger. Yeah, thank you. Best Bond thing to me is the GoldenEye game. It absolutely is, April. I was terrible at that game because we were not a Nintendo household. I've told you guys we were a Sega Genesis house. We were a Sega household in general. But at my buddy's place, Andy Campbell, his parents built a like loft area above their garage. And like, you picture any movie where kids had a clubhouse or just a central meeting place with no parents. That was it. And we'd rock out GoldenEye. There was a pool table up there. Man, we had some great times, man. That was good. It was good times. Mally, Roger Moore wasn't too bad as 007. I didn't realize he was in like 6 007s. I thought he would like did a couple, and then Sean Connery came back, and then they went to Timothy Dalton. But anyway, I'm learning how wrong I was on my upbringing of James Bond movies. Oh man, Cassiano's kid needs to square up the pitcher's eye better. Now I see what you're saying, Mullet. I'm sorry. Castellanos' kid, who has become famous, so famous that I can't remember his first name. Castellanos' kid needs to square up the pitcher's eyes better for his dad to have a chance. Let's cross our fingers and hope that happens. Oh, Mally got caught in the downpour. I'm sorry to hear that. Slappers only mode. Dusty, what's up, Dusty? DK mode. There you go. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Appreciate you guys. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. The Celtics are at it tonight on their home court against the Golden State Warriors. Here's hoping the Celtics get eliminated. I in no way, shape, or form are rooting for the Celtics. I don't ever want to see the Celtics enjoy anything. I hate the Celtics. I respect people on their team. I respected that guy, Ime Udoka, of course, their coach. I don't want the Celtics to win anything. But yet, they're in the NBA Finals. They're one win away from elimination. So hopefully the Warriors close that out and they can end any chance of the Celtics winning. Any chance. Ooh, and how great would it be for the Celtics fans to have to watch their team lose on their home court? That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. So don't miss tip-off for that tonight. And then the Phillies, of course, start their series. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Phillies are back at it tonight against the Washington Nationals. Game 1 of their 5-game series, 7:05 start time. They are on the road. Zach Wheeler gets the ball against Patrick Corbin. So you got another lefty outing today. Hopefully the Phillies jump all over that a little bit faster than they did against who was it, Rogers the other night. So Zach Wheeler gets the ball 5-3 with a 2.84 ERA. 75 strikeouts in 63 and a third innings pitched. Corbin 3-8 with a 6.65 ERA. Get that done, Phillies. Please and thank you for tonight. There was one more thing that I saw that I wanted to make sure I got in today, and I'm forgetting it because I'm not very bright, and I apologize for that. But at 9 o'clock start time tonight, Boston is a 4-point favorite against Golden State. So I want to make sure I gave you guys at least that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are fantastic as per usual. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzy. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow, same time, with a very special guest, hopefully. Talk to you guys tomorrow morning from the Steven Singer Studios. It's a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. And thank you, Destination Retirement, presenting the fine program. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Stay dry. See ya, and go Phils.